Hello, this is CIT 371 Linux System Administration. In this lecture, I'm going to cover software installation. So, as I just said in the previous slide, we're just covering software installation on Linux machines. There ain't much else to say there. But we're going to specifically cover three methods of software installation on Linux. So there's GUI installation, Terminal Package Manager, and from source. At the end of the lecture, as is going to be common with the rest of these videos, I'm going to cover the lab that goes with the lecture. So let's talk about GUI installation. So if you have a GUI desktop environment on your Linux machine, you can use GUI programs to install or download and install software. There's graphical package managers, which provide a convenient and easy to use GUI interface to find and select open source software. Ubuntu has a specific app for this. It's called the Ubuntu Software app. So basically, you go in it. It's kind of like a store per se, but you don't buy anything. You just look for free open source software, find what you want, you download it, install it. Very easy. You can, for proprietary softwares like Google Chrome, go to websites and download an installer from the websites. You can then, once you download the installer, you can run it. It should be noted that Ubuntu devices that do not have a GUI environment installed, or excuse me, if you do not have a GUI environment installed on your Ubuntu device, it should be noted that these two methods of software installation are not available. This is especially common when you have a Ubuntu server. There is a specific type of Ubuntu called Ubuntu server. Typically, it does not have a GUI environment. That is to save on resources. So, what do you do when you don't have a GUI installer? You're stuck with the terminal. So, there's actually two ways to install software from your terminal. One is a package manager. GUI software installation methods are very easy to use. Many of us who are Windows users like them a lot, but they take more time to perform because they take extra time to navigate their interface. Believe it or not, even with experience with GUI software installation methods, it is actually more efficient to use a terminal package manager. So basically, it literally involves just running like one command. Typically, a package manager from a terminal, you can just run one command and have your software installed. So I'm going to explain this method of software installation, but we're going to need to explain some terms. We're going to need to define some terms. The information from here is from the Linode article. But let's define package here. So a package is an archive containing the files necessary to install and run a software application. Basically, you can think of it like an executable to a point. So it's just a file containing all the information, all the files needed to install and run your software. Then there's a repository. So a repository is a location from which packages are retrieved from. So basically, it's a big storage area. It's a big storage site that contains multiple packages. So many repositories are specific to certain Linux distributions. For example, Ubuntu has its own set of repositories to distribute the packages that are compatible with it. Certain repositories are not compatible with Ubuntu because they're for other distros. It's important to note that. Then there's dependencies. So packages that contain software necessary. Dependencies are packages that contain software necessary for other software to run. So when packages are installed via a package manager in Linux, dependency packages are automatically downloaded and installed. So for example, you can install this app that like pulls up your log information or monitoring information in your Linux system, but that software alone may not be able to run. So there's other little softwares that support these bigger packages that may be needed. Now, the good thing about package managers, they automatically hunt for download dependencies. That's why package managers are so efficient. So now we're going to define package manager. Speaking of which, a package manager is a tool in Linux used to simplify the installation, updating, and removal of software packages. So a package manager installs packages, and manages packages, which are from repositories, and packages rely on dependencies. That's the relationship between all these terms. So a package manager has the advantage of being able to automatically download the necessary dependencies, as I noted. So if you don't use a package manager, you're going to find the dependencies. So there are many different types of package managers. Some work across different systems, but Ubuntu, it is recommended to use the apt command. That is the most commonly used package manager in Ubuntu. Now there is an older version called apt-get. It works about the same. It is also still available. When you look at the articles that you're going to be reading throughout this course, some will use apt and apt-get. It really doesn't matter which one you use. APT or apt stands for Advanced Packaging Tool, so it's called that. So it automatically comes with Ubuntu, so it's pretty. You don't have to install your package manager. Um, Here's some more information. I provide man pages on the apt and apt-get right here if you want to learn more. But which version of apt you use will typically be determined on the article video. Like I said, it really doesn't matter, but apt is the command you're going to want to turn to when you are installing software in Ubuntu. So, we talked about GUI installation, we talked about package managers, both of which makes installing software pretty easy. There's a problem though. Package managers are not available. Sometimes there's software packages that are not available in repositories accessible to package managers. So, what happens when this situation occurs? If you can't use a GUI installation, if you can't use a package manager, then you're going to have to install from source. So this method of installation requires you to not only find the software package's source code, but then you're going to also have to hunt down for dependencies. The good news is that dependencies you can install with the package manager. Like if you know which ones you need, you can just run your package manager to install them directly. So there is at least that. So source installation also requires a number of tools to work with source code. You'll need the GNU compiler collection, or GCC, and the curl command for downloading source code packages. So you'll need some extra commands to work with source installation. So there's an article here from How To Geek that provides an overview of the steps needed to install software from source on Ubuntu. I'm going to briefly go over them here. So the first step is to install the necessary tools to work with the source code. Typically you can do that with the package manager. Then you can download the source package. Typically it's going to be on a online repository like GitHub. Then you extract the source package's contents. Typically it's going to be like in a tar archive. You just use a tar command to remove it from or get it out of the archive. Then you run a configure script. So the script is called configure. Then that's going to determine what dependencies are required. Then you download and install the dependencies. You can do it with the package manager typically. Then you compile and run the program with make, and then make install to install it. I do want to go over a little thing about source installation. So you may be thinking, other than when it's necessary, why would you want to do source installation? So the thing about it is that it allows you to really customize how your software is installed. Like if you want specific configurations, the package manager typically is not going to give you that kind of control. Source installation, if you look through all the files and stuff, your make command and your configure command, you can edit those in a way. You can edit these commands you're using to compile and install your software to make sure it's configured the way you want. You can also go to the files to make sure they're configured the way you want them to be. Source installation gives you a lot of control over how your software is installed. The problem with it takes a lot longer to install this way. So depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you got to really consider which option you choose. A lot of people like source installation, others like the simplicity package managers. We use package manager a lot in this course for simplicity because we don't really look into customizing your software being how it's installed. But anyway, we're going to go over the overview for your lab, this module. So you have the software installation lab, and in it you're going to be asked to install two software packages, tree and git. So the first one you're just going to use a package manager. The second one you're going to install from source. Now for part one, for the tree command, I'm going to have you look up how to do that. You're going to have to look up on the internet how to install the app package manager. For part two, though, I do provide you an article to help you install Git from source. Now, there's a lot of articles online that tell you how to do it in different ways. I do ask that you please use the article I gave you. It will produce the most consistent results. But anyway, that'll be it for today's lecture. Thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions about this lecture, the supplemental materials, or the lab, you know what to do. You can just reach me and I will help you out. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. You have a good day.